Hosted by Mike, the Big Cheese.
Hello?
Yeah, hey, Derrick.
Hello?
Hi, Derrick. Okay. Yeah, hey, it looks like we have a better connection.
Yeah.
Is it better, people?
Yeah, it's much better.
Okay.
That's great. All right, Derrick. I tell you, in 1967, NASA spoke to a man on the moon a lot easier than we can get each other here.
Okay. Now it's not so good on your end. Hold on. Can you try speaking again?
Yeah, can you hear me now? Is it clearer?
Yeah.
Good, I'm glad.
A little bit. Okay.
All right. Oh, like I know we're going to repeat it again. Before we were talking about the video coming out, and you were saying how special it was to have the show in Rio.
Right. Yeah, I mean, it was definitely something very special for all of us. We had met on board the Bronx many years ago at a festival in France, and we met them, and we were interested in trying something with them in the future. And it's great to see it take form as big as it did in Rock in Rio.
Yeah, it was an amazing video. I mean, it's always a great turnout over there, and it would look phenomenal. But, I mean, you guys are always busy. I mean, it's a little slow right now. I guess you got a little summer break. You've been playing out in Brazil a lot over the last few weeks in your home area. But, I mean, you guys are always on the go. There's always something happening. Every 2 to 3 years we get a new record or something in between. It's got to be great that you're that active of a band where you just kind of don't rest on your laurels.
I think it's important for us to really challenge ourselves and try to find different things that are happening, and I think it also just comes very naturally. You know, I think our personalities go well together, and we're usually on the same page about creativity. So it makes it much easier to do different things, and so I think we like, you know, for us to keep together and to keep moving forward. It's important for us to constantly keeping our eyes and ears open for new things that are happening.
Yeah. You know, this is like 17 years now that you're with the band. I mean, does it feel like home now? Does it feel comfortable? Is it difficult stepping into any situation where you're the new guy and you got to kind of fit in, but yet, you know, you want your voice to be heard also, but you don't really want to, like, maybe speak up in the beginning? Are you at a point now with the band where, you know, you feel it's yours finally?
I think it's become much more comfortable. I mean, when I look back at everything that we've gone through and where we're at now, I think for me it's definitely so many things I learned from the experience of being with the band and having a lot of choice into whatever ideas that I have can be presented from the very beginning when I joined the band. But I think now with the changes and everything that we've gone through, it's even stronger, you know, a stronger bond. I feel that my voice is even stronger. Definitely now I feel this.
I'm sure. And you actually moved to Brazil. I mean, to be with the band, and in today's world, I mean, it's really not necessary because you have bands that are all over the country. They play together. They send files back and forth. But I guess you guys wanted to keep that, that real band feeling where you're there with each other. You can rehearse, record, practice together. That's a big move to make. That really shows like an amazing amount of dedication to what you put into the group.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's important for me to be in Brazil. I mean, everyone's home in the band. They moved back to Brazil because they've been living in the U.S. for almost 8 years. So it was a big change for them to come back to Brazil, and me making that big change was a perfect time in my life. I was ready for change, and I had no problem with moving to a place where I didn't speak the language or didn't have family or didn't know anyone. I really wanted to play music, and I'd been pursuing it for such a long time, so there wasn't a hesitation to come. And it was a big challenge, but it was extremely important to be here to have an understanding of where the band came from, where they come from as people. And I think it has a big impact on what Sepultura is.
Yeah. Big culture shock, Ohio to Brazil, huh? I mean, when you got over there, were there certain things that you expected or wanted, or things that you just knew you couldn't get anymore because of being in a different country that you really missed?
It was, the culture, it was definitely a big change because, like I said, I was a complete stranger to the country, and the band itself is something extremely big here, where people know the name, and they're recognizable, So I get this now, and it's really something I have to adapt to, being recognized, and also there's people very nice at the same time when they come up to you and they ask for autographs or photos, and that was something that was very different. I wasn't used to. The language I had to learn, so I had to learn to speak Portuguese. That was a challenge at times, but I can understand pretty much everything that's being spoken, and I can read, and I can speak the language. I wish I could speak much better than I do now, but just the fact that I've become kind of lazy. People are always speaking English to me, and knowing that I'm the only American in the band.
Sure. But, Sepultura is taking you all over the world. I mean, I don't think there's very many places you haven't played or been to. And being from the U.S. and seeing, what we've gone through over the last 20 years musically, people kind of abandon metal and then they've come back to it, but they don't live it and breathe it like they do in other countries. And in Brazil, and especially in South America, they're rabid about this music. Have you seen the big difference between here in the U.S. and South America and even other countries throughout Europe, how they live this music?
Yeah, I think we're very fortunate to be able to play so many different places. I think it's the most exciting thing, one of the most exciting things about being with this particular band. We've had a lot of opportunities to go to places. I think they can really identify with where the band is coming from, which makes it easier, I think. And just the fact that we're known in these very remote places. There are a lot of places that we still want to play. Of course, the world is so massive, and there's so many places where people enjoy having music, places that you would never imagine. But the power that heavy metal music has, and music in general, there's no boundaries. So there's places, there will always be places, I think, for us. We've done places where people would never imagine, as far as enjoying having music. India or, Cuba. Because in South America, we've done so many places in South America. I think there's only a few that we haven't gone countries. We just came back from China. And I think, for us, the challenge is to get to places. I would like to go to some more places in Africa and the Middle East, and because I always receive messages from people that there and for shows there in general. So, I mean, there's also places like Iceland that we've never played, and I think the possibility is just so open now.
Yeah, well, you are going to. I think you are going to South Africa in a few weeks, right?
Yeah, next month will be South Africa, and then we'll go to Australia and New Zealand on that.
That's nice. Well, the last record only came out about a year ago, Derrick.
Yeah.
Is it something in the works for next year? Because you guys do come out with albums every 2 to 3 years.
I'm sorry, can you repeat that?
Yeah, I said the newest record only came out about a year ago, but is there anything down the work in the road, for like next year or the year after that with a new album?
Okay, yeah. I think we plan on playing a little bit more into even next year. We already have plans to do some more touring with our latest album. And I think towards the end of the year is when we'll start with the writing process all over again. It just seems like it wasn't that long ago.
Yeah.
But it was pretty intense, the last recording process. But it would be great to start coming with some ideas and sometime in next year. So we'll see how that goes. It's really by feeling.
Yeah. When you come out with the new record, try to go back to like the one-name titles, man, because that last one from last year, that's a tongue twister trying to get that one out all the time. Between the head and the hands must be the heart. I just got used to Alex and Dante. That's a tongue twister, that one.
It will definitely be different from. Well, it'll definitely be a different title. I think it'll probably be the opposite, like you said, one word.
Yeah, I really liked when you worked on the Theme album because I thought that was so great. Any plans in the future for doing something like that again? I mean, it's probably a lot more work, right? Having to come up with that whole storyline and put it into music.
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear that. That's the last part I heard.
So like with Dante, it was like a whole theme album based around that story, and I really enjoyed that. Is there something in the future you might want to do like that again, where you take a whole theme and put it together into music? I know it's a lot of work.
I think the idea for us to do is definitely our love of books and Andreas and I we like to read a lot, and so I think it was kind of easier. It's easier for us once we have something to focus on, and what we did a lot of communicating about the background of the book and different books that we are writing about, and also the author, where they're coming from and why they wrote it. And then we kind of elaborate that into the music. It's breaking it down. Like, okay, let's take it by chapters or by phases that are happening in the book. Try to build on those emotions. So I think that with Dante, it has like these 3 specific phases that are happening in the book. A Clockwork Orange are also different phases of balance the main character going through. And so then we broke the music down kind of like that. Like maybe these 3 songs would be they're more intense, they're more fast, and that will be the representation for Dante and Hell. Or this part would be, for a Clockwork Orange or Alex, our album, we had the first part where Alex is totally insane and crazy with his friends, so the idea of the music was much more intense as well. And we would go in those moods, in Purgatory and Dante, then the music becomes more stretched out and just kind of talking about those feelings and going with that. So it's a lot of fun to do. I don't know if we'll do another album like that since we've done 2 already, but we'll see what happens. I mean, it's great to get ideas from books and also things from around us, things that are affecting us.
Yeah. You got anything going on outside of a Sepultura these days? I mean, you sang on a few different things. You had music at Diablo for a little bit. Is there anything else you're working on separately? Or is it all your eggs in the basket with Sepultura right now?
Oh man, it's really hard to hear. Can you say that again?
I was saying, do you have anything else going on outside of Sepultura these days? You were doing music at Diablo for a while.
Okay. I know that I'm doing some de la Piedra. It's a side project that we have to do different musicians from South America, and they're doing some shows, and they have an album that I believe is out already or coming out. And I have a project which has nothing to do with metal or not related to metal, but it's crazy. I wanted to do something completely opposite of metal if I was going to do a project. For me, it's important to try to do something extremely different because it's more challenging, and so I want to work with my voice in a different way. So it's involving singing and different styles of music. It's like American funk or electronic, and that's called Maximum Headroom. And we have an album already, and we're going to re-release it at the end of the year, and really start doing shows and pushing that. We already released it full thing. We have new management and everything. We're just kind of re-releasing with all the videos and everything in order. So at the end of the year, it's kind of doing a little bit more with that.
I'd like to check that out. I'm interested in hearing it. Yeah, Derrick, I'm going to let you go because we're about to lose the connection, and I figure we'll quit while the quitting is good. So I appreciate you talking with me today, man. The best of luck.
All right. Thank you very much. Take care.
Take care, Derrick.